That's
Okay.
irrelevant.
All right. We are live.
Well, this went well.
Are we live?
We are now live. Welcome back to the ASL Season 12. This is the Week 1 recap, and I am joined here today with
Brad? Hey,
Brad.
it's me. Whoa, hey.
And Lille. I've been told we're live.
We are live.
Rumors.
We are live and on time and right when we want to be recording.
We're like 5 days late. It's fine.
It's a weird way to pronounce on
No,
time, but we'll take it.
we're
It's
never
Ian's
late.
fault, just to be clear. It's Ian's
We
fault that we're late. If he would battle
we
on time, we wouldn't have been late.
Yeah,
we did try and wait.
yes, it was entirely that we were waiting. There was no other reasons.
Mm-mm.
No,
Nope.
not one.
Not. Uh-uh.
All right, well, we've made them wait all this time. I think we should just get right into it.
All right.
With our week
So
one
the
match. I just cut you off immediately, so I'm sorry.
so our first match of the week was between the Woodland Weaviles and the Riverside Otters. That's Peaches versus Brett. So immediately right off the bat, I think they lead with Victini and Rotom. And I think Brett made a big mistake letting Victini get paralyzed turn one because that's immediately a big cripple on one of his biggest offensive threats.
Yeah.
Peaches played this match super well. He essentially kind of called everything that Brett would try and do to him, like the Babiri Berry on Mimikyu to help him take down the Steelix better. Like, just getting rid of that massive problem early on was amazing for him. I remember there was a turn later on in the match where it was a Gengar versus Indeedee, and Brett learned a valuable lesson that day that Indeedee is in fact part of the type. I think that is a thing a lot of people overlook because it does set up the psychic terrain, so you immediately think, oh, it's only psychic type. But no, it is in fact also part normal. Really good use of the Sand Slash as a bulky pivot in this match. Rocks were a huge problem for Brett too. It kind of kept wearing down his offensive threats, making it tough for him to do anything with it. Peaches I remember, really tried to predict hard on what Brett was going to be doing with his Indeedee, and I think it was like 50-50 on if he got it or not.
I really
It
oh,
did end up
sorry.
See?
it did end
Dravos,
up being a
gosh.
4-0. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm bad at this. I will admit it.
You're no worse than I am. I was just gonna add that I like that Peaches gave us a big FU and didn't even bring Mega Alakazam
Yeah.
because we kind of made it out
There,
as a
there's.
big threat.
I mean, and it is. And it is. And looking at this particular match, I'm not sure. I mean, Lily covered most of the bases here, but I'm not sure what Brett's plan was when it comes to Megazam. When you look at this team, maybe it's the Steelix, but I'm not sure what exactly he was planning to do to stop the Mega Alakazam. The no boots on Vikavolt turned out to be a pretty big issue. The Mimikyu usage was brilliant. I thought the Mimikyu was incredible. Having the right berry, getting the drain punch in to make sure he could recover up was really, really smart. Brett looked a little, quite frankly, just a little bit underprepared in this match. Um, Peach is a very good battler, and once you got into the battle, I think it was the game only lasted 20 something turns. I think by turn, certainly 13 or 14 when this Indeedee hit the field, it seemed fairly apparent that Brett didn't have any options, didn't have any answers. Uh, so hats off to Peach, and I'm sure we'll see more from Brett in the future. But this week, it looked like Peach was more prepared to me.
For sure.
I would agree.
My only guess is maybe because it did take rocks damage, so maybe the Therian was the bulky for the Zam.
Maybe. You would have thought that after how bad Hazard Stack hurt him last season, Brett would have brought a bit more
True.
beef out. But he might have figured that maybe Peaches wouldn't bother with a Tornadoes T on Brett's team.
Hard to know.
All right.
On to match 2.
On to match 2.
Shadow and TG. This match is one of the most anticipated matches for me personally. I've known TG for a long time. I'm excited to see him back in the league, and I think he's got a very interesting, if not odd, roster. And so this is a match I was really looking forward to. And Shadow played. I don't want to speak too big or be captured by the moment too much, but he played potentially the best match I've seen him play in many seasons. His Scrafty usage was unbelievable. He played very smartly. I thought it was brave of TG to bring the Shinotic. I assume that was his Scrafty answer, though. I believe Scrafty gets poison jabs, so I'm not quite sure there. But that was it was a nice back and forth. It was close throughout the match. There was a Will-O-Wisp hexing Dragapult that caused Celesteela more issues than I think Shadow had anticipated. But it was a fun match. Colossal got a Flare Blitz kill, which is, when's that not a good day, right? But the Scrafty looked great, man. I think Scrafty really told the tale of this match. Being able to set up, kill the Registeel, smartly swapping out on the Terrakion so he doesn't, risk losing it or anything like that. Getting down to, I'm trying to remember what turn it was. It was in I think the 30s or the 40s, where TG swapped out his Golisopod on the Scrafty. Yeah, TG swapped out Golisopod on the Scrafty into the Terrakion, giving Scrafty about a 50% HP boost back. And then Shadow stayed in front of the Terrakion to get a Drain Punch off on the Volcarona, giving it enough health to live a Bug Buzz at 1 HP and kill with Rock Slide. So maybe TG missed playing a little bit. Maybe Shadow just pro playing even more and clicking the right moves at the right moment to come out ahead of this one. This is, again, I know you guys haven't seen TG a lot, but TG historically is one of the best coaches we've ever had. So for Shadow to claim this victory, this is the kind of victories you need if you're going to make playoffs. You're going to have to beat people like TG, and so hats off to Shadow on the right kind of the start to the season.
Yeah, it was good. I want to add that I went back to look at the whole Volcarona Scrafty play, and the Bug Buzz was a crit as well. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, Scrafty came out at like the perfect amount of health to survive that, which really just adds a whole lot more interest to it, in my opinion. And yeah, I agree. It was a really good match by Shadow. Really good use by Scrafty.
I think the Golisopod was played really well too. Like saving that for the end definitely got TG far in the game.
Yeah, it was super close there at the end. Yeah, because Poltergeist 90 or 95% accurate? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't.
Uh,
90.
90. Yeah, so it kind of came down to whether or not he can land that poltergeist for Shadow. That could have been
Yeah.
huge to miss.
Better days are ahead for TG. Better days are ahead. I think he showed enough in that match to show that he's not going to come in here and be rusty and struggle. I think he's going to play well. But it's all about Shadow this week, man. Good for him.
Yeah, I definitely think Shadow just was playing at peak level this week. Wasn't necessarily that TG was playing bad, it was just Shadow was just on one.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for the next match?
That's you.
All right. We got Static versus TCP, which was a very close match as well. Came down to a 2-0. I was really thinking that Static was going to win this for the longest time. And he just seemed in control. He seemed to have an answer for a lot of TCP's bulk. Uh, I mean, Venusaur took quite a while to wear down, but he did. Finny was just super shut down by Galarian Slowbro, and I think that was one of the big turning points was letting Galarian Slowbro go down. Just because Finny just couldn't seem to set up on it early game. It was setting up a few Calm Minds, and that Shell sidearm, it just does not care if you're bulky on the special side or bulky on the physical side, because it's just going to hit you on whichever side you're weakest. And just being able to come in, regenerate any lost health. I'm not super great at 3-moning, and 3-moning always gets weird, but I think if he should have definitely saved it if he wanted to preserve WinCon, just because he needed something to deal with Finny, and Milotic just wasn't the answer, it seemed. Even though he had Haze, it just couldn't keep up with the Hazes, the recovers, and also damaging Finny. Because Finny had leftovers up that whole time, so it couldn't. It was, yeah, he just couldn't get enough damage out before Finny was killing Milotic, unfortunately. But Static had a lot of good early game plays. He really shut down the Azelf really quick. It got a nasty plot off, but it didn't really matter. He shut it down so fast, but it took his Galarian Slowbro in the process.
Also, shout out to Sludge Venusaur, truly the MVP. When Sludge Bomb just doesn't have enough PP for you, you always fall back to the smaller moves.
That was odd. Was that just a mistake, or was he trying to get like higher poison percentage? Maybe what was that about?
No, both are 30-30. I could not tell you. Maybe he was thinking the long game.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Odd.
Just typed in Sludge and then didn't realize he clicked Sludge and not Sludge Bomb. Yeah, I don't see the benefit over it.
Probably so. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah. This match in particular was just, as you were saying, not what I expected. Static seemed to be in control for the majority of the match. But that's what happens when you play good coaches, right? It's not over till it's over, and they usually keep something in their back pocket until the end. And Static looked pretty good. This is a tough week one matchup. TCP's a perennial playoff team in our league, and both played pretty well. The Tapu Fini is one of TCP's, or at least it seems to me, one of his favorite mons. I've seen him use it before to a lot of success. Static had a lot of good things going. The Guzzlord was annoying. It was there. It was present. The Milotic was good. The Moltres was impressive. It was a well played match. This had a playoff match kind of vibe in week one. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think one of the few things was just mirror coat didn't seem to work out too great on
Yeah.
Milotic. But I
I,
like the tech. I'm a fan of going for some crazy tech because sometimes that can be what makes the difference in a match against a good coach like TCP. Are you ready for the next one?
I think so.
All right.
Next up, we have the St. Louis Samurats versus the Missouri Raikou. Brad versus Kid.
Two
Uh,
Missouri teams, right?
yeah. This is the MVP of this match was absolutely Hitmon. That Mon did so much work early on in this game, just denying hazards constantly, eating up every special hit thrown at it. That Mon and essentially taking down Nidoking for the price of being revenge killed. It was so it was very impressive. Uh, Teleport Arcanine was great for pivoting and letting Brandon get the initiative he needed. Get every time Weavile was in, it was an absolute threat. Uh, Intimidate Arcanine just shut down Mile. Hitmonlee just shut down Nidoking. It was pretty. It was pretty scary. And then he kept the Lando in the back with as a backup win con, getting rid of all the things that really scared it.
Yeah. It was a fun match. I always enjoy playing what I consider to be perennial playoff teams, and I think, without question in my mind, uh, IL belongs in that conversation of, should be in the playoff type coaches. So I always look forward to these kind of matches. This one was everything I could have anticipated. The only thing, man, as I got into the prep stage, I felt defeated well before we started the match. Hitmonlee, I did not possess an answer for. Um, I have now, into made a week 3 eligible transaction to try to help deal with that kind of issue. But I mean, I didn't own a response to Hitmonlee, and Mawile is really what I base a lot of my offense on. And Arcanine, just I can't hit it. You cannot. This match, I came into the match feeling like the odds were stacked against me, and the result speaks of it. IL played very well. He did his job. He ran his team. He always plays well, so not really a story to be told in that regard. But I couldn't get past the Hitmonlee and the Arcanine. It's what I thought would happen in prep, and it's what happened. I could not deal with them.
Yeah, I was talking to Brandon after this match, and he was telling me that wasn't even a attack invested Hitmonlee, and it was doing all that damage. It
Yeah.
was purely defensive.
Yeah, I knew it. I was aware of it. I didn't have options. I, I've tried to do some things to, readjust my team, and I mean, I can do some things in prep to be different if we play again in the future. But week
Uh,
one's a tough week anyway. I've always said week one's the hardest week of the season. There's no trends. There's no adjustments. You don't get to improve your team. You just, walk out there and see what happens. So the toughest week of the season, and in my opinion, the toughest matchup I'll have all season long, and I got whipped.
yeah,
Yeah, it was exciting. It feels like a lot of people just, for whatever reason, are not picking up that Arcanine has teleport now as of the Let's Goes, and I think that really just helps solidify Arcanine as great value in its tier. The
Oh,
reliable
definitely. I think I'm
recovery.
the reason he drafted it. I think me and him talking before the draft, I think I'm the one that encouraged him to pick it up. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
No, not for your best interest. Should have had him pick it up week 2 of the transaction. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
Arcanine is pretty slept on in my opinion. The reliable recovery, it can easily run boots, can run Intimidate or Flash Fire, and then just with the power it brings, the speed tier is great for it. It's a threat that needs to be given respect.
I think the set was very cool too. Rest talk with teleport to be able to pivot out even whilst healing up.
Yeah.
We do have to give a little bit of shout out to my Thundy for being able to kill a Megalodios just by
Oh,
itself. I was excited about that one.
Yeah, that was a huge threat gone for pretty much free.
Yeah, that was. I couldn't help but have a little bit of excitement about that one. That was a good one.
Brad, though, you weren't showing off what a tier A Mon Rhyme was this match.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up not, you know, being able to do what I'd planned for it to do, and that's okay.
It's
It
unfortunate, but he'll be playing weeks.
It happens. Again, his just the Arcanine, man. The Arcanine got in the way of really everything I wanted to do. So that's just how it goes.
On to the
But
next one.
match 5.
Yeah.
Match 5 was our very own host, the one and the only Travos. That was the crowd, playing against Dirty Logic. Dirty Logic, as you should recall, was a newcomer not to the ASL season, but to Draft League entirely. This is his first match with experience. He's got a season under his belt playing against Dravos. It could have gone better, could have gone worse. But I'm telling you, Glare Sanaconda was a problem. There was how many mons did it paralyze? Was it 2? I think it was just.
I think it was
It was
2.
just.
I tried to get the para on
But
Raikou as well.
it mattered a lot, though. It seemed like the 2 was happening pretty regularly. The Sanaconda was able to kill Akira in Black, along with the Glare and Body Press. It was. The Sanaconda was way more impactful than I thought it had a reason to be. It really was doing stuff. And then you had the power up punch Jirachi that was able to kill the Toxapex in one shot, which I did not expect to happen. That's always fun. Mega Gardevoir really couldn't ever get off the ground. In that regard, it needed to get the sub up, potentially do more damage, but it just was never able to have that moment. And you got to highlight the Blaziken. That was what you wanted to do in the beginning anyway. A little bit of unnecessary. I don't think you had to use Blaziken at the end, but let's sneak in those 2 kills on that Blaziken, right? Let's spread that stat sheet a little bit heavy. But a nice win for you. Fairly quick match, a fairly, I don't want to say easy match, but the way that it flowed, I don't think you got to show off much of your prep, and I don't think you got to really go into the deep waters with what your team had to offer this week.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was easy because prepping for a Kieran Black and a Mega Gardevoir was not easy by any means. I'll be honest, I didn't really have much of an answer for it. I felt some decent ways to pressure him, and my main plan was just, oh, I know Mega Gardevoir is a thing, so if it comes in, I can't switch out. I have to just attack. I cannot let it get a sub up because then I
Yeah.
could very easily just lose. And I think Dirty Logic just wasn't expecting some of the more aggressive plays. Like he probably expected Sandaconda to switch out against Gardevoir, and because I didn't, he couldn't get the sub up for free. I made him kill me so I could get my free switch in. He definitely wasn't expecting the glare on Superior. I figured out pretty quick that he was probably weakness policy Rhyperior, so I never gave him the EQ or body press with Anaconda until I knew it was going to kill. Yeah, I think just I think I had a pretty good game for me as well on top of that, with a lot of hacks in my favor with those glares. But it wasn't just for para hacks. I needed to slow down a few things on his team for sure.
Mhm.
I just watching this back, it really felt like wrapped around your finger the majority of this match. Like, you got literally every read right. It felt like you got the parallel on Superior. You predicted it not to go straight for the Loop Storm, which was amazing for you. It was just not Logic's match to win. It felt like you were not letting him do anything that he wanted to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they won't always all go like this, right? You know, and they won't all go like this for Dirty Logic either. You know, he will play better and things will go more his way. Again, you know, I don't want to be a broken record here, but week 1 is the hardest week of the season, man. You don't know what teams are wanting to do. You don't know how players are going to want to use these mons. You know, and I mean, even though you told people in the draft recap, I drafted this team so I could let Jirachi be more like Mew. You know, I want it to be able to do different things. Well, you know, even though you say that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. So it's hard for him to expect like a power up punch, you know, Zen headbutt set. That's a hard thing to predict on week 1. You know, now week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on, they're going to be looking at, you know, these different kind of offensive sets. It's a very difficult week to be successful in.
yeah, definitely, especially with a team that I think lets Zapdos be defensive and defog, or doesn't have to defog, or Jirachi. I feel like I really don't have it forced into any one or even any 2 or 3 roles. I think it can do whatever it wants. And so a week 1, I think that's very hard to prep for, especially when a lot of things on Dirty Logic's team. I think his team is great. I really like it, but Kieran Black is it's just gonna be hitting hard. Mega Gardevoir might sub, it might just run for attacks, but like they're a little more straightforward than like a Jirachi. So I think it was just a rough week 1, and I only expect Dirty Logic to do better as it goes on. I think he's gonna be very scary this season.
The Mega Absol and the Vaporeon never field in this match, which I find kind of funny.
Yeah, and you know I went back and forth on that Mega Absol slot, which Pokemon I was gonna even have there. So it's kind of funny that it didn't really matter in the end.
Right.
But that was quite a bit about me. I think we're ready to move on to the
That's all right. We can
Kamikaze.
skip this one.
Oh, okay. I guess we're done then. No, the
I
Kamikaze.
want to talk about it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that Carbink. That was a great Carbink, and even though it didn't super work out in your favor in the end, just seeing that Sandstorm, that did you run Trick Room on it? Make that click through so I can see the set. Yeah, the Trick Room, the explosion to get momentum. It was exciting to see that Carbink in action because I looked at your prep beforehand and whew, I was excited for that Carbink. But yeah, wow, SmackDown Mega Steelix was very scary in Sandstorm. And it was really impressive to see you be able to just repeatedly tank hits from Tapu Lele. Did you figure out if that was Scarf or Specs? Or did it switch
I'm
over?
pretty positive that was Scarf.
Scarf, okay. If
Oh,
that was
no, wait. I
the,
think it was Calm Mind.
was it Calm Mind? I don't pay attention. Either way, though, being able to eat hits from Tapu Lele is pretty impressive. And you had lots of reads on the Infernape Lele switching back and forth, and you were just kind of wearing down both Lele and Infernape. But yeah, I'm not. Your electric terrain from Coco really just ended up coming back to bite you with that rising voltage Mega Manectric. Once Steelix was down, it really was just free to just spam that at the end there. And it was a weird match because you seemed very in control for almost the entire match until the very end.
It's reminiscent of the TCP Static match, right? It felt like Static was in the driver's seat for the majority of the match until it was very obvious that he wasn't, and it was way too late to do anything about it. This did have somewhat of a similar vibe, right? Where it seemed like Lele was ahead of the game for the majority, but there was a point in time where he wasn't, and there wasn't really anything to be done at that point. It was kind of too late. But I did think the carving was useful, which is fun to say because those are words usually not uttered. But it was useful and it did some things. I don't know that the Sandstorm ended up doing anything other than empowering Steelix Sandforce. I think we were. I don't even know if. Yeah, it did that. But the chip damage really didn't end up mattering. The
Right.
Dragalge was pretty good this match. Dragalge only got one kill, but I thought it got in the way a couple of times. The Infernape, I think he was just playing really straightforward. Could have gotten a lot of U-turn momentum on some turns, and he just chose not to. Chose to go for the close combat. I thought maybe one or two too many times. But you played it well. He did what he needed to do to put himself in the position, the best position he could to win. And I think he accomplished that goal, obviously. He got the 1-0. And same thing, I go back to what I said to Shadow earlier. If you're a team that has a history of getting close to the playoffs, maybe, but not quite making it, these are the kind of matches you need to win. You need to win matches against teams that make the playoffs usually. And Lily only has one history season, but in that season, he was able to secure a playoff spot. So, big win for Melone early in the season. He played it well enough to put himself in a position to win. And I said it on the draft recap, man. I saw Mega Manetric in a league recently, and it absolutely wreaked havoc. And people thought Mega Manetric was kind of dead after Hidden Power got taken out. But no, my friend. It is alive and well. And always, cap tip to Melone, best nicknames in the league.
Was
Yeah,
Chandelure Flashfire?
it was Flashfire, yes.
Okay, so I feel like
I think
the Steelix going down to that overheat, I don't know how it would have helped you in how it would have taken like a volt switch or something, but that was just weird because like you needed to double out
we
to
did get to see
Chandelure.
how well it took.
Did we? I don't pay attention. I said that earlier.
26%.
Okay, so yeah, you would have had to double out to that, but then it would have just volt switched out to Infernape and it had EQ. So, and I think
Yeah, but Flashfire Flamethrower would have murdered something. Absolutely.
yeah.
I think I just got high on the how well Steelix did early on in breaking down the walls. I kind of just didn't think about my end game plan and ended up sacking off too much HP on Coco, and it hurt me in the late game.
Yeah. And I mean, it happens. I'm
It
also
does.
I'm way worse at late game than you, so I fully believe you can bounce back.
Definitely will. You'll bounce back. It's 1 week. As I've said, I repeat it again. Week 1 is the hardest week. But, I think you got to give the cap tip to Melone, man. He did what he had to do to be in a position to win. And although I think we would all three agree he didn't necessarily have to end up in a position to win, I think Lily maybe could have pivoted this way or that and potentially avoided it. At the end of the day, Melone did what he had to do. And
Yeah,
congrats to him, man.
he capitalized on a big mistake by Lily. So yeah, he fully
He's
deserved it.
1-0 with a new team name, right? New
Yeah.
team name, new franchise name, 1-0, going for the streak, man.
Is he possibly our next ASL champion?
Guaranteed? I don't know what
He
you're
already
talking
was. Many times.
Yeah, but not under this team name.
That's true.
Yeah.
So true. I see what you're doing there.
Got me there.
He's just gonna do a new team
Rising
name,
Voltage was
new
smart, though.
championship every season.
Yeah. And then we've got TCP. Wow. Keister and Ian were not able to play quite yet. Ian had some work issues that put him unavailable to do his battle in a timely fashion. So I think he's at this point, probably on his second or third, token, trying to extend this match as long as he can. I say it jokingly. We knew this was coming. We knew he was going to end up being a bit delayed due to some things beyond his control. So that match will be included in our week 2 recap.
Hopefully.
Potentially. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to talk about the trades?
Sure.
All right. Well, first we had Keister dropping Ditto for Meloetta, which
I love the move.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Ditto. I think it's easy to if you're not prepared,
Stop.
Ditto can be strong, but yeah, I mean you just run sub if you're also trying to run setup. Or just run sub on a lot of things that aren't like choiced. So I think Meloetta brings a lot more viability to his team.
For sure.
I mean, I just would echo what you said. I think Ditto is only, how do I say this? Meloetta, if you're a skillful coach, Meloetta offers you options in terms of prep and in terms of play style. Ditto is really subjected to your opponent. It's a bit beyond your control, right? And so if you're a coach that's really good and you're really skilled, then you like to be able to control your mons and control what they do. So to me, knowing Keister and knowing that he's a good quality coach, I think he'll perform better with a mon that provides him more options.
Yeah.
I agree. And Meloetta does technically give him a new speed tier at, I believe, 126
Something
when
like
it
that.
switches forms.
Let's check.
Yeah. I mean, it's the pirouette form is hard to get into, and it's obviously not, it's not your primary set.
Right.
But except Meloetta has options. Brett probably won't know it's normal, and he'll try to shadow ball it, so there's a free turn. So already we're building in big wins for Meloetta.
Yeah. All right. And then we only had one other trade, I believe. Dirty Logic dropped Cinchino for Swallow, which I also like this change. I am just a fan of Swallow. I don't really have any other reasoning for the most part.
I'll say I'm a bit the reverse in that I love Cincino. I've used it in many leagues. Actually, a league that I just finished, I had a Cincino that went 11-0 in terms of kill differential. But yeah, they're both fine. They're both fast, normal types.
Yeah,
Swallow adds a rock weakness, so
I like
not really that
Cincino.
big of a difference.
I like Cinchino as well. I guess if I had to find some actual reasoning, Superior and Cinchino, I feel like that's a very close speed tiers on Pokemon that are both running speed. So I think Swallow helps a little bit more with those speed tiers, gives them that option for a base, what is it, like 125? Just gives them a little bit more room to work.
Yeah. Yeah, but in that team, though, that is already very specially oriented, I liked having the speedy physical attacker. So, but I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's a fine transaction. I don't necessarily think he's going to be winning or losing games because of either one of them.
A fun fact, Brad almost got me to pick up Cincino this season. I felt like I needed Licky's bulk more than the offense.
I love Cincino, man.
Your usage has been really good from replays you've shown me.
Thank you. And that's it.
Yeah. That's that's
That's
all
all
the
game.
games, that's all the transactions.
Yeah. That's it. We're done. Till week 2.
Yeah. See you next time.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully.